Hello and welcome to Creative Walks. I got back to Kyiv about, 2 hours ago, and it's 2 a.m. here. And I haven't posted these, supposed to be a daily podcast, but I haven't posted in a few days because, and basically for the last week, I've been to two places in Western Ukraine. One is a city called Slavsky, where I had the opportunity to go snowboarding. I also went to this fantastic city called Lviv. It's also in Western Ukraine. I will talk a lot about some insights from this trip over the next few days. But it was quite interesting to see Lviv, which is a city that I haven't really heard about much before getting acquainted to Ukrainian affairs since I met my wife 6 years ago. And then Lviv was in my radar because it was supposed to be a very creative city. Some of my favorite bands are from there. They have this interesting mix of things going on. It is an Eastern European city, but it's also not that heavily influenced by Soviet culture, architecture, and all that stuff. And all I can say for now is that it's a super creative city. It's like a city of stories, of creativity. It's quite fascinating. This will be a very short episode. And what I wanted to mention was actually not about the trip itself. That will be later. But on the train back, it was like a 5-hour ride in this train from Lviv to Kyiv. And I decided to just binge watch this guy called Derren Brown. And if you have Netflix, you should absolutely take a look at his work. He is a sort of like this British mentalist / magician. He does this very crazy, almost like a Truman Show, but in real life, with the goal of helping people overcome their fears, their limitations, their biases. And he basically creates this elaborate, you could call pranks, but it's like he creates the environment with actors and hidden cameras and all those things. But instead of being like this futile thing that we see on television all the time, like those pranks, it's actually an elaborate psychological experiment. It is, I must warn you, it's very powerful, it's very strange. But I highly, highly recommend you go check out his work. It's basically the things that he does is find ways to bypass your intrinsic problems and act as if you don't have them, right? And all the kind of things you can do and all the person that you can become sort of more related to what you truly want to be. So it is in a way, a sort of a self-help kind of a thing. But at the same time, he's really rooted in science, deception, magic, all those things that we usually don't consider when you are trying to get better at things or trying to get out of thought patterns. So there are a couple of shows. One is called Push, where he basically gets one person to push another guy from the top of a building, and I won't spoil anything for you, but it's a fantastic premise. There is another one that he makes a guy that is super racist, basically put his life, it's called Sacrifice, put his life in the line for an illegal immigrant in the US. Of course, this is all coordinated and they have also the safety precautions, but it's so interesting. And then the episodes that I saw that just became available on Netflix were a program from 2012 called Apocalypse, where he basically gets this guy to believe that the world is coming to an end. And what will you do? And what could you do in case you had this new life? And to appreciate the things that you actually have, something that we in the first world or even in the third world, but with a better life, situation, we take for granted. So I am back. There is new episodes that will be coming every day. I should have considered the logistics of recording during a trip, but to be honest, I was not really in the mindset to record. I was in intake of inspiration, and now I'm going to reflect on those on the next few days, and a lot of cool, interesting things and recommendations for you. So I will talk to you tomorrow.